Tonight on CTV News at 6, an Edmonton senior's lengthy ambulance wait.
She kept saying, I'm cold, I'm so cold. It was upsetting.
An hour outside on icy ground with a broken hip. Organizers of a winter festival worried about snow clearing before thousands of visitors arrive.
What are the conditions going to look like? Can I come? Is there a place for us to be able to park?
And the more snow, the better at Sunridge Ski Resort this weekend. Ski Cross slides into town.
Good evening. We saw a high of -4 degrees in Edmonton today with cloudy skies, but warm up for the weekend and a lot of sunshine in the Long Range. Those details coming up.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. An 84-year-old woman was left lying in the cold for more than an hour this past weekend. Her husband says he called 911, but no ambulance showed up until they were called by neighbors who came to help. Connor Hogg has more.
I was a shock. I can still see that scene.
John Campbell is still shaken from Saturday. He and his wife Margaret were cleaning the house. Campbell walked into the kitchen. Margaret was nowhere to be seen until he looked outside.
She was taking the garbage out. She stepped out, as I understand it, I didn't see it, onto the back step and fell. It was very, very slippery.
Margaret was still conscious, but she couldn't move without pain. Campbell called 911. Nobody came. He called again and was told an ambulance would come soon. He got help from neighbors who called 911 again. Everyone covered Margaret with blankets and jackets to keep her warm.
Watch her just getting colder and colder on the ground. She kept saying, I'm cold, I'm so cold. It was upsetting.
One paramedic arrived. He radioed for the ambulance Campbell had called for about an hour before. 10 minutes later, one arrived and brought Margaret to the hospital with a broken hip.
We have paramedics reporting out over 30,000 overtime hours per month, which means those are shifts that are not being filled otherwise.
Mike Parker is the head of the union representing paramedics in the province. He says the Campbell's case is an example of a system in crisis without enough staff.
Our dispatchers are trying to find ghosts. They have no one to send to these emergencies.
Emergency Health Services Alberta says that once they were informed that Margaret was stuck outside, the call was upgraded to priority. It recognizes she still waited a long time and that system-wide acute care pressures affect EHS response times. It describes its staff levels as strong. John visits Margaret every day. He says she's recovering well from surgery.
She thanked me yesterday, particularly, that it did help her quite a lot.
And is now heading to a rehabilitation facility. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Residential snow clearing begins on Monday. The organizer of the Deep Freeze Festival says the Alberta Avenue area should be cleared first. Thousands of people are expected to drive to the festival next weekend, and organizers say they need simple and safe places to park and walk. Jeremy Thompson reports.
Grooves in the snow jostle an SUV as it drives towards Alberta Avenue. The city plans to clear this area and every other neighborhood sometime during the next 2 weeks.
We're really pleading and hoping that we will get bumped up to the top of that residential clearing list because we really need it and we want to make it as enjoyable and safe for everyone.
Christy Morin runs the Byzantine Deep Freeze Festival, which goes January 17th and 18th. She thinks smooth roads surrounding the site would give guests the confidence to attend.
They're calling asking, what's it going to look like? What are the conditions going to look like? Can I come? Is there a place for us to be able to park?
Graders are proactively plowing the festival's horse and carriage route. Small street parking areas just off 118 Ave are also being cleared. Plus, Alberta Avenue is a business district that already gets priority snow clearing, but that does not extend to neighborhood streets.
So this is just sort of the additional ask. Beyond those areas, festival organizers want to know if the surrounding community can also be taken care of.
The city says the solution isn't as simple as sending plows to the area. In a statement to CTV, a spokesperson explains weather, temperatures, current rutting, road width, and impact of windrows in the surrounding neighborhoods are all significant factors in how we plan the snow clearing operations that will most effectively support this festival. In fact, there's no money in the snow clearing budget to remove windrows from any neighborhood this winter. Morin expects 40 to 50,000 people will come to Deep Freeze next weekend.
I think our patrons are really expecting that it'll be all cleared and ready to roll.
The city is working on a snow clearing plan with the festival, but so far, no commitment to clear neighborhood streets early. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Snow isn't the only thing that's piled up in parts of Edmonton. The city garbage trucks struggled to get up a back alley near 105th Street and 98th Avenue. They had to back up and take a run at the hill several times to reach the garbage bins. The people who live here say before this, the bins were overflowing. The city says multiple attempts were made to access them, but it was unsafe for waste collection staff. Today, crews were successful in applying extra sand to help with traction.
And that's great. So now let's focus on the snow removal when we need it done, maybe not 4 weeks later.
The city says if garbage bins are overflowing at a building, residents should notify their property manager, who can contact 311. There's been another delay in the start of a deadly hit-and-run trial. Peter Ashby is facing several serious charges, including dangerous driving causing death. It's alleged he was on the run from police in a U-Haul when he struck and killed 45-year-old Cassandra Gartner. She stepped out of her vehicle to inspect tire damage after she drove over a spike belt intended for the U-Haul. The trial was slated to start Monday. Ashby's lawyer was denied a request to adjourn the trial to a future date because of a late evidence disclosure from Crown prosecutors. One of the Crown lawyers was removed from the case yesterday after concerns were raised about their conduct. Today, the court heard Ashby's lawyer would not be able to attend because of illness. The trial is now expected to start on Monday. 2 people are facing charges after 2 carjackings in West Edmonton last month. Police say 2 men pulled a gun on a man in front of his home demanding the keys to his car. The man ditched the car shortly after because of the icy roads. Police were called later that evening about a second attempted carjacking in the same area. Police say 2 people tried to take a woman's vehicle after crashing into hers. After a scuffle with the woman, they ran away. Police have since arrested and charged 2 18-year-old men. They're looking for a third. They're hoping these images will help identify him. As canvassers begin to collect signatures on a petition related to Alberta independence, one economist says there is no compelling argument to support the province separating from Alberta.
If you can find me micro scenarios where this might work out, I will give you a macro load of ways in which it will go terribly badly for the province.
Moshe Lander with Concordia University says any economic benefit would be drastically overshadowed by the infrastructure costs of setting up a new country. He adds negotiating projects like a West Coast pipeline would become far more complicated. He says it's hard to imagine how any sector could benefit from separation.
We just came out of 2025, which was nothing but insecurity and instability triggered by the White House. We're now going to do it to ourselves and expect that people are going to want to hang around. So beyond just businesses leaving, individuals will leave too. And so that's going to erode the tax base from all sides and increase the cost for anybody that's left behind trying to run the province.
Lander also says now that the United States has control of Venezuela's oil industry, Alberta would have even less leverage in trade negotiations. New Statistics Canada data shows Alberta lost 14,000 jobs in December. Alberta's unemployment rate is now at 6.8%. That's on par with the national unemployment rate. Across the country, job numbers didn't change much, but more people were searching for work. There were 1.6 million people unemployed across the country in December. That's an increase of more than 70,000. A Canadian recruitment agency has released a list of the top 15 most in-demand jobs for this year. According to the agency, the top 5 jobs companies will be looking to fill are sales associates, administrative assistants, customer service representatives, accounting technicians, and receptionists. Nurses, pharmacy technicians, and dental assistants are also in the top 15, as well as forklift operators. TELUS is offering buyouts to hundreds of its employees. The telecommunications company says it has offered voluntary severance packages to nearly 700 workers across Canada, including about 500 union staff. TELUS says the job cuts are fueled by rapid transformation in the industry and customer demand for self-serve solutions. The company says it anticipates only a few employees will be interested in taking the buyout. An Alberta RCMP officer and his wife have been charged with fraud. Mounties say in May of 2024, they were alerted of a possible fraud committed by the pair against the Piikani Resource Development. They've been charged with fraud over $5,000 and theft over $5,000. Police say the wife was an employee of Piikani Resource Development, while the constable worked for the Piikani Detachment. The officer had been with the RCMP since 2021 and is currently suspended with pay. Dozens of young skiers are fulfilling a need for speed this weekend at Sunridge Ski Resort in North Edmonton. Eric Takash has more on an annual competition featuring athletes from across the province.
This is a little different from traditional alpine skiing.
I like racing against people because it's better than just racing by yourself because you have people bumping into you and it's better. More competition, I would say.
The Sunridge Alpine Ski Team is hosting its annual ski cross race at Sunridge Ski Resort. In ski cross, 4 athletes compete against each other at the same time.
It's definitely different for them because now they have, another athlete right beside them, basically, barreling down the track at just, trying to go as fast as possible.
Sherwood Park's Peyton Andrews is one of 90 skiers slated to hit the slopes this weekend. This is her 5th year competing in the race. In 2024, she won the competition within her age group.
I enjoy doing this because the community is great here. Everyone is supporting each other, and the course is really fun to go down and compete against others.
Another Edmonton area skier also has high praise for the community.
The people around you, everyone's super nice, everyone's really supportive. It's a really good team environment, especially for an individual sport. And also just the competitive nature of it is just there's just something about it that I haven't experienced in other sports that I've played.
Competition heats take place on Saturday throughout the day, with finals taking place on Sunday.
There is really good competition here today, and this weekend I think it's going to be a tough match, but I think I'll be up there.
The event is open to spectators and free of charge. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Canada's Olympic women's hockey team was revealed today with 1 Albertan on the roster.
Alberta.
Today's event featured a video of young players announcing the roster. That includes Bruderheim's Emmeryn Smashmeyer. She joins 22 other women who will represent our country at the Olympics in Italy next month. 7 of the players are Olympic rookies. 16 were on the squad that won gold at the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing. Canadian women have won 4 straight Olympic gold medals. Oilers captain Connor McDavid tied one of his personal records by picking up a point against the Winnipeg Jets last night.
Slashed it free for Nugent Hopkins. Denied initially by Connor, then threaded it through to Bouchard. Tri-sidle cross. McDavid scores!
McDavid got the Oilers on the board late in the second period. He scored at least 1 point in his last 17 games. He also picked up an assist on Evan Bouchard's game-winning goal. McDavid has 40 points in his last 17 and is 1 point shy of Nathan McKinnon as the league's leading scorer. This is the 3rd time in McDavid's career he's collected points in 17 straight. He could break his own record Saturday night against the LA Kings at Rogers Place. Time now for a first check on weather. Here's Ann Lou.
Good evening. As we head into the weekend, well, things are going to look a lot brighter and warmer. We saw a high of minus 4.3 degrees today, a slightly warmer than the seasonal average of minus 6.5, but not close to the record set back in 2012 at 7.8 degrees. Here's a look at our satellite radar imagery. Mostly cloudy skies pretty much across the province. We do have a couple centimeters of snow expected for the Grand Prairie region as we head through this evening. But the good news is things do clear up quite nicely just in time for the weekend. Tomorrow morning, to start off the day, you'll see -4 degrees, -7 for Red Deer at the freezing mark, for Calgary and Lethbridge, -20 for Cold Lake. And this is what we can expect by 8 o'clock, -1 degree under cloudy skies with the wind chill. It'll feel like -5. The sun peeks through around noon, warming up to 3 degrees. A high of 4 degrees come 3 o'clock with mostly cloudy skies. With the wind chill, it'll still feel like -3 degrees, and a 2 by 6 o'clock. So tomorrow, enjoy the dry day, mostly cloudy skies with some sunny breaks in the afternoon. Clears up quite nicely at 5 degrees on Sunday under a mix of sun and cloud. Look at Monday, warming up to 7 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. Back to you.
Thank you, Anne. Coming up after the break, climbing a mountain for a cause.
You don't expect a phone call like that. You don't expect, anything like that happening.
How an Alberta MLA is raising awareness about domestic violence while honoring his sister who was a victim of the crime.
Monday in your morning, how to start 2026 with better eating and better body image. Plus, we talk to the host with the most roast ahead of Roast Battle Canada Season 5.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
In Calgary, an independent water report highlighted at least 2 decades of deferred maintenance and weak risk management. Former Mayor Naheed Nenshi says he was never informed that the Bears Paw feeder main was at high risk in 2017. While the report does not lay blame on any individual, Alberta's UCP government is blaming Nenshi, claiming he lowered water safety standards in 2011, ignored expert warnings in 2015, and delayed safety checks in 2017 and 2020. Current mayor and former councillor Jeremy Farkas says he was aware of aging infrastructure and that he made efforts in 2019 to address it through motions that were then overshadowed by the COVID pandemic. The current council has now voted in favor of a motion to defer the independent report's recommendations until next month.
Ultimately, council needs to have all the information to be able to make a value-based decision, and we're lacking that. From my perspective, the only time that I was made aware of how vulnerable this line was is just recently. In fact, the high priority action report that was provided to administration in October of last year, we never saw that.
The report's authors say action is needed now, and key recommendations like an independent water utility oversight board are essential to informing long-term decisions and preventing this from ever happening again. Alberta's education minister is embarking on a deeply personal challenge with a lofty goal. Dimitrios Nicolaides' sister, Melanie, was murdered by her estranged husband 2 years ago. Now, Nicolaides is about to climb Africa's tallest peak to raise funds to help those facing domestic violence. CTV's Sean Fournette reports.
Dimitrios and Melanie Nicolaides were about a year apart in age. Growing up in Calgary, they were close. In adulthood, they shared a special moment when Dimitrios and his wife were expecting.
I told her, can you keep a secret? Because we hadn't announced it. And then she replied back with her own scan saying, can you keep a secret? And her daughter was born 4 days before ours.
But Melanie's story took a tragic turn. She was stabbed to death by her estranged husband, Kerry Gerling, outside a school. Gerling then took his own life. He was repeatedly released from court on past charges against her, including sexual assault, and had a no-contact order.
I was the emergency contact for the kids. You don't expect a phone call like that. You don't expect, anything like that happening.
Now, Nicolaides will lead a group up Mount Kilimanjaro to raise funds for Fear Is Not Love. They've been on practice hikes in Alberta and Colorado.
A lot of it was born from a friend who wanted to take me on a hike after my sister had passed, because he said, he found it very therapeutic for himself.
Melanie's ascent has already raised $250,000 to buy home and personal security devices, from doorbell cams to GPS tracking jewelry, for those facing domestic violence.
And it's not going to prevent everything, but it is one more thing that we can actually be using to help create a more solid safety plan for people and help give them back their lives.
After the hike, Nicolaides says he'll leverage his position in government to create more change.
I could, probably go on about bail reform and all of those kinds of things, but today I'm really focused on honoring her legacy.
Sean Fournette, CTV News, Calgary.
Stars Air Ambulance is launching its largest fundraiser of the year. This year's Stars lottery campaign is called We All Win. For the first time, every ticket bought is automatically entered into a draw to win instant prizes. There are 3 show homes located in Edmonton, Calgary, and Lethbridge. Stars hopes to raise more than $11 million. The organization says this generates enough revenue to support one of its bases for the entire year. It provided more than 1,500 flights in 2025.
We're not interested in running like just an average operation here at Stars. We want to be cutting edge. We want to provide patients with absolutely the best chance they have at survival, whether they're critically ill or injured. That takes a lot of effort, a lot of education.
Tickets are available now. The deadline to enter is March the 20th. The draw is March 31st. Coming up on CTV News, making noise for cricket.
We've grown at least 3-folds since we started in 2022.
The popular international sport is making a name for itself here in Alberta. And there's a live look at downtown Edmonton from the CTV drone. It's been quite cold recently. That is about to change in a big way. Temperatures approaching double digits next week. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Cricket is a fast-growing sport in Alberta and across Canada. In Calgary, tens of millions of dollars will go towards a new facility aiming to level the playing field. CTV's Jordan Canagan explains.
These young Calgary cricketers are quickly learning the game, and they're not alone. The sport is seeing a surge of popularity in the city.
With cricket, I found a community that I really connected with, and so it was a lot of fun to try out a new sport and also feel like, oh, this is something that I can do for a while.
But players are feeling the squeeze of facility shortages as thousands look to play the sport. Field time is at a premium, and indoor space is even harder to come by.
We've grown at least 3-folds since we started in 2022. We started off with just a kids and youth program, then we developed that into a seniors program, and now we also have a women's program.
But cricket and other field sports such as soccer will soon be getting a big boost. Calgary Council earmarked $65 million in December for a new facility in the Northeast.
This will offer the opportunity for more affordable accessibility. This will allow for those who are shut out of facilities that are very expensive.
The Northeast Athletic Complex will have a main outdoor cricket pitch ready to host national and international events, plus 4 more outdoor fields and an indoor field house for soccer and cricket practice.
It'd give us a feel of how international cricket is actually played, because the stadium that's going to be built, it's going to be a turf pitch. Instead, the ones that we play on right now, they're concrete pitches.
Construction is expected to start in 2026 with an aim to open by early 2029.
It's very encouraging for any athlete, whether that's a kid or a high-performance soccer player or a cricket player, to see that the city is behind them. The city is willing and ready to give them the infrastructure that we never had.
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Let's go now to Ann Lou for more on the warm-up this weekend.
Good evening. Looking great as we head into the weekend today. Not too bad either. Cloudy skies. We do have a couple centimeters of snow expected around the Grand Prairie region as we head through the evening hours. A couple centimeters, but it does clear up quite nicely as we head into tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, we'll start off the day at -4 for Slave Lake, -2 for Red Deer, -11 for Fort McMurray. A warmer for the southern regions. Calgary at 3 degrees. Lethbridge, 2 degrees to start off the day. As we look into tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies to start off the day tomorrow, but then it does clear up quite nicely late tomorrow evening. Heading into Sunday, clears up even more under a mix of sun and cloud. Chance of seeing some light snow along the foothills as we head through tomorrow afternoon. So things will warm up quite nicely starting tomorrow. Here's a look at that ridge of high pressure. It's going to continue with warm temperatures from the south of the border, and we're going to see temperatures pretty much close to the record-breaking mark as we head into Monday. So for the next 24 hours, we'll stay around the -4 degree mark around 9, -3 midnight, and then warming up to -1 at 8 in the morning. Noon, we'll see some sunny breaks at 3 degrees. 4 degrees is a high with mostly cloudy skies, a light breeze at southeast, 13 kilometers an hour. 6 o'clock will stay mostly cloudy, 2 degrees, dropping down to 1 as we head into 9. For high level tomorrow, you'll see mostly cloudy skies, -6, 3 degrees for Slave Lake, Whitecourt 5 degrees. You'll see 2 degrees in Fort McMurray, and for the southern half of the province, Jasper 1 with sunny breaks in there. Calgary 7 degrees, Lethbridge mostly sunny skies, not showing up, but you'll see a high of 8 degrees with Medicine Hat seeing 6 degrees. For Edmonton, mostly cloudy skies 4, 5 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud for Sunday. Monday warming up to 7 degrees. A few clouds for Tuesday and Wednesday with temperatures between 4 and 6. And then heading into Thursday, mostly sunny skies, 2 degrees, and then the cool down starts. -2 for Friday, -3 for Saturday. Sunday, we'll see a mix of sun and cloud, -6. And then on Monday, dropping to -10 with a chance of a flurry or two. And we will see that in the morning before it clears out of the way. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Ann. All right, time for a little fun now on the show. Broadcasting first for me and many others, an Edmonton hotel is about to be demolished live right here on CTV News. It's not a real hotel. It's made of gingerbread, and we are live now at the Duchess Bake Shop on 124th Street, where the winner, Nicole Williams-Kwan and friends, are ready to start demolition. Here we go. Looks like a lot of fun. Duchess Bakery built that recreation of the Grand Budapest Hotel from the Wes Anderson film with the same name. It was to help usher in the holiday season for 124th Street's All Is Bright Festival. People were encouraged to drop off winter clothing and toiletries to be entered into a draw to demolish it. Duchess says several bags of donations have been collected. They're going to the Human Youth Society, an organization dedicated to supporting homeless and marginalized youth. That looks like a lot of fun. Very therapeutic. Still ahead, protests growing in Iran.
He's talking about these protesters essentially foreign agents and therefore should be crushed.
Deadly violence reported across the country as crowds defy the regime and...
C'est une tragédie inimaginable.
The owners of a Swiss bar where dozens died in a fire under investigation apologize.
Programming brought to you by the Billy Joel Songbook with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
Iran is now under a nationwide internet blackout as anti-government protests continue for a 13th straight day. This is one of the few videos that has emerged from the country overnight. The internet shutdown means current footage and information coming from inside the country is much more scarce. As the demonstrations grow, Iran's supreme leader is lashing out.
He's talking about these protesters essentially foreign agents and therefore should be crushed. Clearly, he's showing no indication to be willing to listen to the people.
In a televised address, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei dismissed the protesters as, quote, a bunch of vandals, and says they're trying to please Donald Trump, who has threatened Iran if the government kills protesters. One human rights group says 14 security personnel and 48 protesters have died since the demonstrations began last month after a collapse in the country's currency. Donald Trump is talking tough on Mexico, signaling land strikes are coming against drug cartels in that country. The U.S. has already said it believes cartels are operating in Canada, and officials on both sides of the border are cautiously watching the president's next move. CTV's Judy Trin now with the Mexican response and the growing risks for Canada.
Donald Trump claimed the capture of Nicolas Maduro was about stopping narco-terrorism. Now Trump is signaling he may send American troops onto Mexican soil.
We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water, and we are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels The cartels are running Mexico.
Mexico has previously turned down Trump's offer of military intervention, but is concerned Trump will act on his own like he did in Venezuela.
And I think for Canada, that's also dangerous. Don't forget that when we started this year, a lot of the discussion was around quote unquote fentanyl flows across borders, and he lumped Canada and Mexico into the same basket.
The U.S. has declared 8 cartels terror organizations. 7 of them are based in Mexico. During his meeting with Sheinbaum last September, the Prime Minister acknowledged some of them operate in Canada.
With respect to transnational crime, organized crime, cartels, gangs. The unfortunate fact is that there are gangs from one country in another country, but also vice versa.
In recent months, Mexico and Canada have stepped up efforts to disrupt trafficking networks, including raids to close in on Ryan Wedding, an alleged Canadian cocaine kingpin, believed to be protected by the Sinaloa cartel. On social media, the White House warned, F around and find out. After Venezuela, after threats to invade Greenland, and now Mexico, analysts say Canada could be most exposed.
If you are weak, and you are doing stuff Trump doesn't like, and you can be an ally or you can be an adversary, right? You can be Canada or you can be Venezuela, but you get FAFO'd.
In a recent interview with the New York Times, Trump said that he's not constrained by international law or Congress, but by his own morality. He says that's the only thing that can stop him. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. forces have seized another oil tanker as the Trump administration continues to pressure Venezuela in efforts to take control of the country's oil exports. This footage was provided by U.S. Southern Command and shows troops boarding a tanker called Olina in the Caribbean Sea. The ship appears on sanctions lists of multiple countries. The U.S. says it's using the seizures to pressure Venezuela to remove the so-called dark fleet, which allegedly consists of over 1,000 vessels that transport illicit oil. The U.S. Supreme Court did not issue a decision today in the case challenging Donald Trump's tariffs. The case is centered around whether Trump overstepped his presidential powers by using a decades-old law and declaring a national emergency to impose sweeping tariffs. The delay keeps tariffs and uncertainty in place for businesses and American trading partners. The top court is expected to issue its next set of rulings January 14th, with several major cases still pending. The owners of the Swiss ski resort bar that caught fire New Year's Eve, killing 40 people and injuring over 100 more, were questioned by authorities today. Through tears, one of the co-owners apologized for the tragedy.
C'est une tragédie inimaginable.
That is Jessica Moretti, who owns the bar, along with her husband Jacques, who has been deemed a potential flight risk and will remain in custody. They're both under investigation, suspected of manslaughter by negligence, among other serious charges. It also emerged this week that the venue had not faced a safety inspection in over 5 years. A new Alzheimer's drug recently approved for use in Canada is giving patients a glimmer of hope against the disease. Today, the first Canadian was given the drug. As CTV's Adrian Gobriel reports, so far, there is no coverage for the drug in Canada.
It's starting right now.
With the press of a button, the miracle that is modern medical science goes to work.
I say to anybody who needs this procedure that if they can get it, get it.
Sharon Runge began experiencing mild memory loss about 4 years ago.
Probably in the last year or so, the diagnosis of Alzheimer's has been made.
The Runge family have been waiting for Health Canada to approve this drug that will gift them life's most valuable commodity, time.
It's a historic moment for people living with Alzheimer's disease and their families in Canada.
Today marked the first ever infusion of lecanemab in Canadian history, administered by neurologist Dr. Sarah Mitchell.
It's a monoclonal antibody. It goes in and it basically removes the bad plaques from the brain. It slows down the progression of the disease by about 30%.
Canada is the last of the G7 nations to approve lecanemab. As of today, it still isn't covered by any province, and that comes at a cost.
$32,000 Canadian, and that is per year. We are hoping that we can have equal access for all Canadians to this drug, and that requires government support.
Any future funding of the drug has received some public pushback.
Well, I'd say they should walk in our shoes.
The infusions yield the best outcomes for those battling the early stages of the disease. While Sharon admits she's unaware of her cognitive deterioration, her sense of humor is on point when we ask that she share her age.
I'm 16.
No, she's...
And the love that she has for her children, as well as her husband Dallard, remains as present as ever.
I am so fortunate to have met him. He's the most important thing in my life.
The Runges now have hope that their loving life together will also have longevity. The troublesome protein can gather in the brain decades before symptoms arrive. The next step is testing whether this drug can help offset Alzheimer's in asymptomatic patients. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, the flu putting pressure on hospitals across the country.
People are not surprised to wait 16, 18, 24 hours to be seen with a medical emergency in an emergency department.
The latest on flu cases in Canada also.
Is the technique I was talking about on skin.
An Ottawa forensic scientist honored for her work on fingerprint evidence. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar traded for about 72 cents U.S. Oil was up $1.36, closing the day at $59.12 a barrel. Gold gained nearly $41. The TSX up 234 points. The Dow Jones up 237. The intense rise of flu cases this season has put a major strain on emergency rooms right across the country. Though today, a positive sign as the number of new cases appears to be falling. Abigail Beeman reports.
We just don't have the ability to look after the people who walk through our doors.
The situation in Alberta hospitals is so dire, the Alberta Medical Association wants the province to declare a state of emergency. It comes just weeks after this 44-year-old father died after allegedly waiting 8 hours for care in the ER.
People are not surprised to wait 16, 18, 24 hours to be seen with a medical emergency in an emergency department. If that isn't a state of emergency, I don't know what is.
The government says the calls are misguided and measures the exceptionally busy system has taken are in line with past winters, including canceling some scheduled surgeries. Meanwhile, new national flu numbers up to January 3rd show the percentage of positive tests is down, outbreaks are down, and hospitalizations are stable. But at this Northern Ontario hospital, where the flu has forced patients into dining rooms and hallways for the first time in a long time, a drop in flu cases alone won't solve the problem.
Waiting in hospital for alternate discharge locations, limited primary care in the community, and the aging population and comorbidities are still impacting our volumes.
Ottawa, too, forced to use dining rooms and hallways.
We are certainly experiencing a surge of patient volumes, and it is largely related to potentially influenza, but also complications related to influenza.
While Newfoundland and Labrador now reporting 2 flu deaths, with the latest case numbers 3 times higher than the 5-year average.
We've certainly seen a little bit of an uptick in flu cases over the past week or so.
Across the country, cases among those aged 19 and younger, previously leading the way, have dropped off sharply, while cases among those 65 and older have soared. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
For decades, an Ottawa forensic scientist's work shaped how fingerprint evidence is recovered and trusted in Canada. Now she's being appointed to the Order of Canada. CTV's Caitlin Wilson reports.
Is the technique I was talking about on skin.
For Della Wilkinson, the work was never about recognition.
For me, when I was at work, I was working for the victims.
As a forensic scientist with the RCMP for 25 years, Wilkinson spent her career tackling one of the toughest problems in the field: how to recover reliable evidence like fingerprints from the most challenging surfaces like human skin.
The materials in the fingerprint are the same as what exists on the surface of the skin, and that's what makes it really challenging.
But it was challenges like that which defined her career. She became a world leader in evidence recovery from contaminated environments, working with labs in the US, Australia, and the UK. That expertise became critical after the anthrax letter attacks in the United States in 2001.
And now, as a result of that work, those countries have protocols to deal with those types of exhibits.
That work would later be drawn on in major criminal investigations, including one of Canada's most notorious serial killers, Robert Pickton, who was convicted of 6 counts of murder but confessed to killing 49 women, many of them Indigenous. He was killed in prison 2 years ago.
There were buckets in a freezer that had evidence, and it was difficult because it was frozen. So we developed a strategy with our forensic identification officers. It was very collaborative.
Now, after a career advancing forensic science, Wilkinson has been appointed to the Order of Canada, one of the country's highest civilian honors. In a statement, the president of the RCMP Veterans Association says her research in the field has been shared and has benefited law agencies internationally, including the FBI. We're grateful for her abundant contributions.
I'm so humbled to receive this award.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Still ahead, Costco's top dog.
My fuel for the day was the hot dogs, and I ran through breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so I needed them.
A Calgary man's literal Costco run for a foot long. An Alberta man is relishing in his exercise and eating habits. Sean Walker completed what he's dubbed the Costco ultramarathon last week. Tim Brooke explains.
This is Sean Walker, and this is his Instagram page. One video in particular might catch your attention.
Can I run the Costco Ultra Marathon?
Yes, the Costco Ultra Marathon. It's a grueling run between the city's 4 mega stores with stops along the way for some extremely healthy nutrition.
My fuel for the day was the hot dogs, and I ran through breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so I needed them.
Walker only slowed to scarf down Costco's internet-famous dogs.
What can go wrong with $1.50, you know?
Starting in the Southwest, Walker stopped at stores in Deerfoot Meadows, Sunridge, and eventually Beacon Hill. He says it was actually the food that kept his feet moving.
Whenever I got to eat a hot dog, it means I got to take a break and relax for a bit.
In total, he covered almost 52 kilometers in just over 7.5 hours, which has to be some sort of record. On Instagram and TikTok, the stunt has racked up a combined 310,000 views as of Friday. But as fun as going viral is, Walker insists the real intention behind the run was to grab attention for the Calgary Food Bank.
Just encouraging people that can to donate, and when you come to Costco, just grab a couple extra things and drop it off.
The charity appreciates the creativity, especially now, as it helps more than 900 families every single day.
The first thing I thought was, now I want a hot dog. I just love when folks find ways to use their talents and their hobbies and their passions to combine that with giving back to community, and that's just clearly what he did here.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
It's well known that Canada has a love affair with hockey, and now hockey is part of one Ontario couple's love story. Wedding sealed with a kiss and the triumphant sound of the goal horn. The couple became engaged last year when the bride-to-be said "I do" to an on-ice proposal, and last night they decided to tie the knot at the same arena at another Windsor Spitfires game. And that is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great weekend.